60 duels, never defeated. One man who revolutionized Japanese swordsmanship and became Japan's most legendary samurai. Today, we're diving deep into the real story of Miyamoto Musashi, the warrior who transformed from a teenage killer into a philosopher whose teachings still influence people 4 centuries later. This isn't just another samurai story. This is the biography of perfection. Welcome to the Power Play. Today we're exploring one of history's most fascinating figures, a man whose life bridged Japan's most violent era with its most peaceful, and whose legend continues inspiring everything from business strategy to video games. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because we're about to uncover the truth behind the myth. Miyamoto Musashi was born around 1584 during Japan's Sengoku period, an era of constant warfare where samurai proved their worth through actual combat, not ceremony. His father, Shinmen Munasai, was himself a renowned martial artist known as Tenkamuso, meaning without peer in the realm. But here's what makes Musashi's timing so crucial. He grew up during the final decades of Japan's age of civil war, when skilled warriors could still forge reputations through legitimate dueling. Yet he lived long enough to see the Tokugawa shogunate establish peace, forcing him to adapt his martial skills to a world that no longer needed professional killers. At age 13, Musashi fought his first recorded duel against Arima Kihei, an experienced practitioner of the prestigious Kashima Shinto-ryu school. Armed with nothing but a rokushaku wooden staff, this teenager killed his adult opponent. This wasn't beginner's luck. This was the announcement of a prodigy who would spend the next 15 years proving that traditional swordsmanship had fundamental flaws. From age 13 to 28, Musashi embarked on what's called Musha Shugyo, a warrior pilgrimage across Japan. During these years, he fought over 60 duels and never lost a single one. But these weren't random street fights. These were calculated challenges against established sword schools, renowned masters, and regional champions. His most famous early victories came against the Yoshioka family school in Kyoto around 1604. The Yoshioka served as official sword instructors to the Ashikaga shogun, representing centuries of traditional technique. Musashi didn't just defeat their masters, he humiliated them by using revolutionary one-handed techniques and simultaneous dual sword combat that shocked contemporary observers. Where traditional schools insisted on two-handed katana grip as sacred technique, Musashi wielded both long and short swords simultaneously. His reasoning was both practical and philosophical. Two-handed grip limited flexibility, proved useless for mounted combat, and represented the kind of inflexible thinking that got warriors killed. He was essentially debugging Japanese swordsmanship in real time, with his opponents' lives as the price of their errors. But the encounter that sealed his legend occurred on April 13, 1612, at Ganryu Island. Sasaki Kojiro, known for his Nodachi Monohoshizao and technique called swallow cut, represented everything Musashi opposed about traditional swordsmanship. The duel lasted minutes. Kojiro died. The island was renamed in his honor. Yet here's what's fascinating about this famous duel. 6 different historical accounts contradict each other on crucial details. Was Musashi late or early? Did he taunt his opponent or remain silent? Even the name Sasaki Kojiro doesn't appear in sources until 1737. Earlier records just call him Ganryu. This shows how quickly historical facts became romanticized legend, with each retelling adding dramatic elements that felt more satisfying than documented truth. After age 28, Musashi essentially retired from dueling. His transition wasn't gradual, it was decisive. He had proven his point about traditional swordsmanship's limitations. and Japan was changing around him. The country was moving toward peace, and Musashi evolved from warrior to strategist to philosopher. His Hyoho Niten Ichi-ryū school, meaning the strategy of two heavens as one, codified everything he'd learned about combat effectiveness. But his true innovation wasn't specific techniques. It was strategic thinking that transcended swordsmanship entirely. Raised as a Buddhist from age 7, Musashi spent decades practicing Zazen meditation and studying with influential Zen masters. This spiritual foundation shaped his understanding of combat psychology. He wrote about seeing situations as they truly are, without mental distortion, taking initiative before opponents could react, and maintaining adaptability like water changing form. His masterwork, The Book of Five Rings, completed just months before his death in 1645, structured combat wisdom around Buddhist 5 elements. Earth established foundations. Water taught adaptability. Fire addressed combat dynamics. Wind critiqued other schools' limitations. And void revealed spiritual understanding beyond conventional perception. These weren't just fighting techniques. They were principles applicable to any competitive situation. What's remarkable about Musashi is how his historical reputation transformed into cultural mythology. The 1954 Toshiro Mifune film trilogy won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film and established the visual archetype of the legendary samurai warrior. Mifune's powerful, charismatic performance created the template that influences every samurai portrayal, from Akira Kurosawa films to modern anime. Today, Musashi appears in approximately 60 feature films, countless manga series, including the critically acclaimed Vagabond, and video games from Soul Calibur to Samurai Warriors. Even Pokemon's Team Rocket characters, Musashi and Kojiro, derive their names from this legendary rivalry. His philosophical work became popular among Silicon Valley executives during Japan's 1980s economic boom, and continues being taught in business schools worldwide. The upcoming Onimusha, Way of the Sword game, featuring Musashi as protagonist, represents the ultimate evolution of this mythologization process. The historical Buddhist warrior transforms into a supernatural demon-slaying hero. Yet this feels culturally authentic because it follows patterns by which Japanese folklore has always elevated exceptional historical figures into archetypal legends. What makes Musashi's legend so enduring is its foundation in authentic spiritual development. His Buddhist training wasn't superficial. It was decades of serious contemplative practice that influenced every aspect of his philosophy. His writings describe combat as a form of moving meditation, where perfect technique emerged from mental clarity rather than mere physical skill. Japanese folklore naturally developed stories connecting Musashi to supernatural sources of power. Legends emerged of him learning secret techniques from Sojobo, the legendary Tengu king of Mount Kurama, who allegedly taught numerous mythical warriors. Stories developed of him wielding Tengu-mei katanas, mystical swords forged with demon assistance, directly paralleling modern interpretations like the Oni gauntlet in Onimusha. Sensing death's approach at age 61, Musashi completed his final work, Dokodo, The Way of Walking Alone, containing 21 life precepts that distilled his philosophy into essential principles. Accept everything just the way it is. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. Be detached from desire your whole life long. 1 week later, he died seated in formal posture, holding both sword and cane, maintaining warrior dignity even in final moments. 4 centuries after his death, Musashi's influence remains remarkably alive. Modern practitioners continue studying his Niten Ichi-ryū through legitimate lineages. With approximately 800 members worldwide, maintaining authentic techniques. His wooden practice swords, preserved at shrines, serve as physical connections to his actual training methods. But his greatest legacy transcends preserved artifacts or martial arts techniques. Musashi represents the eternal human quest for mastery that goes beyond mere technical skill to achieve genuine wisdom. His emphasis on adaptability, strategic thinking, and spiritual development provides frameworks for excellence in any competitive endeavor. Whether you're studying his philosophy for business strategy, martial arts practice, or personal development, Musashi's principles remain surprisingly relevant. His integration of practical technique with philosophical depth created a template for approaching any challenge with both analytical precision and intuitive understanding. Miyamoto Musashi's journey from teenage killer to enlightened warrior philosopher demonstrates how exceptional individuals can transcend their original context to embody universal human aspirations. His undefeated martial record, revolutionary philosophy, and spiritual development created foundations for centuries of cultural interpretation that continue enriching our understanding of excellence, strategy, and self-cultivation. In a world still obsessed with competition, optimization, and personal mastery, Musashi's example remains as relevant as ever. He proved that true strength comes not from rigid technique, but from adaptive thinking. That victory belongs to those who see situations clearly, without mental distortion, and that the highest form of combat skill is knowing when not to fight at all. What aspects of Musashi's philosophy do you find most applicable to modern challenges? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most fascinating figures.
Let's see your best then, eh?
If you enjoy our content and want us to keep delivering the latest news, reviews, and gameplay tips, please consider supporting us by clicking the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified about our latest uploads. Join the Power Play community with Jason Creed. Thank you for being part of our journey. Let's keep gaming together.